Welcome back to Our Cloud. It's week 3.
Big Brother.
What has Mickey done?
The final power of the season was used by Mickey.
She finally used
So
it.
she H take over Riley's HOH.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was very interesting how that played out. Riley got to interrogate all of the house. He got 3 minutes with each house guest, and Vince started it off and he said, think about Mickey. Think it's Mickey. Think about Mickey. I feel like Lauren also said the same thing. I think Lauren said, I also think it's Mickey. But then after that, then that's when things started to shift. People started coming in saying that it could potentially be Ashley, and the scent started to come off of Mickey onto Ashley, and Riley really wanted it to be Ashley.
Well, and I think this just goes back to first impressions, right? There's strikes against people in this house, and you automatically come in with biases about a person. And so Ashley's such an easy person to suspect. They clearly don't like her. Catherine didn't like her. Catherine was coming at her, and then Rachel even stepped in, like, you need to sit down. She's like, I'm sat. They clearly don't like Ashley, so she was an easy target. And Riley got it wrong. And Mickey got her power. And I can't believe that she got this power. She used this power, and yet again, for the third week in a row, an ally of the HOH has gone home.
Yeah, that definitely was crazy how Mickey used her HOH to evict Jimmy, who I think was not going after her at all.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, for sure. And for me, it wasn't really Mickey's HOH. It was Morgan and Vince's. They took over Mickey's HOH. They hijacked her mind and made her think that Jimmy was creating all these secret alliances and going after her. But I think that was all to just their benefit. I think for sure Jimmy was a threat to Vince's game. Morgan is very tightly aligned with Vince,
Hmm.
and so they made sure together that the scent got off of Vince, who was technically the person that was supposed to be on the block.
She totally should have put him up. The Jimmy versus Vince question is, they're both playing the same game. Who has her best interest in this moment? Vince has never once come to her and made her believe that he has her best interest. And for sure, I think in Mickey's mind, it was like, I have to now choose between Morgan and Jimmy and draw the line in this triple threat alliance. But the reality is I think she could have done a better job at working with Morgan to help her understand, like, Jimmy still has our backs, and Jimmy and Vince are playing the same exact game. Everything that you're convinced Jimmy is doing, Vince is doing the same thing. Vince was in the room with Jimmy when Jimmy went to him to start this alliance. They were in that room together with Keanu and Kelly.
for sure, I agree with you, but I do think that Mickey's only option at that point was Vince. And so Morgan did everything possible so that somebody that she even told Mickey, she's like, he's my number one guy. And I think that's when Mickey realized that if she went against this and nominated Vince, it was probably going to be the end of her and Morgan's relationship.
Especially because they were already on the rocks with the whole thing
And
last week,
exactly.
but that's why I say she had to choose between Morgan and Jimmy in this moment, and I just think she went about it such the wrong way. She kept saying like, "Oh, I can separate personal from the game," but she did not in this moment. And I think the reason that she went with Jimmy on top of trying to preserve her relationship with Morgan is that like she just really felt betrayed by Jimmy, right? And so she was just like, "I'm not going to give him any time to even convince me." But what she really should have done is she should have confronted Jimmy, even if it had just been 24 hours to go, confronted Jimmy, let Jimmy go. Like, you think Jimmy would have gone down without a fighting chance? Jimmy probably would have blown the whole house up. It would have been Jimmy versus Vince in front of the entire house, convinced the whole house, because another humongous risk that she took was betting that everybody was going to vote Jimmy out. That was huge that she made that happen, because the likelihood of voting Jimmy out was without anybody really knowing except for Morgan, because everybody else was blindsided by that choice. So she took a huge risk. Yes, it paid off, but she took a huge risk, and I think she should have let Jimmy take the reins on that one, let the whole house pull up a seat, watch the show unfold, and then make a house decision. And I don't know if they would have ultimately went with Jimmy versus Vince, but I think it would have been a really compelling way to convince the whole house of something without it feeling so messy, and to more of a benefit of Mickey. Like, there's all these secrets, let them come out then. Okay, let's hear it. What does Jimmy have to say in all of this?
Morgan played a huge role in this. Morgan didn't allow that for that to happen. Morgan, if you notice, was in the room with Mickey when they told Jimmy right before the veto ceremony.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm just saying that that's what she should have done for the benefit of her own game. If she really wanted to use this power and like really wield the power of HOH, that's what she needed to do. She was not playing the game in this moment. She literally gave up playing the game. The moment that Vince told her about Jimmy, she stopped playing.
That was all very carefully calculated by both Vince and Morgan. I think, again, it was more their HOH than Mickey's. Um, I think Vince right now is a huge threat in this game. People are kind of catching on to it, and that's a big reason he almost was on the block this week. But again, he figured out a way to get himself, like, not even to be nominated. Last week, Rachel was trying to convince Lauren that Vince wasn't what was best for her game.
Hmm.
So this is another week where Vince has somewhat of a target, and for like, thankfully for him right now, he has Morgan that sees him as a very close ally. In her words, her top guy. And if that wouldn't have been the case, he probably would have gone home this week. The only reason I think Vince is around right now is because Morgan went to bat for him, made sure that Mickey did not nominate him. Um, and I think Mickey realized in this HOH that, again, if she did nominate him, that was probably going to be the end and um, of hers and Morgan's relationship. So, was it the right thing to do? Only time will tell. But yes, I do agree that she technically voted out a number for herself. Somebody that I, again, don't think that was going to ever nominate her, or not, maybe not ever, but not anytime soon. Like, if Jimmy was going to go after Mickey, it was going to be deep into the game. He had a lot of other people to go after before going after Mickey. So she definitely, I don't think, considered that. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. But I really think that Morgan has, after what happened last week with Mickey, Morgan has started to like lean more and more towards her alliance with Zach and Vince. And I think she's going to stick to that. And Mickey's going to find herself in the outs
For sure.
sometime in the near future.
At best, Mickey is 5 in that alliance because even I think Lauren is considered number 4 because I'm pretty sure Lauren considers Vince her number 1 guy too.
Yep.
With Zach and Lauren, I think that's, I don't know if that's an official 4, but they're acting as a 4, and Mickey would put herself at 5. And that's, I think, to round off Mickey, is I feel really sad for her because she totally gave up. Regardless of how good you are at convincing a person and manipulating a person, you have to have an ability to discern for yourself like what's going on. And the moment that she heard about Jimmy, she totally gave up and handed that HOH to Vince and Morgan on a silver platter. And that so sucks for her because she is definitely at best number 5 in some unofficial alliance. None of those people have her back. Maybe not even Morgan.
Not even that. Now she's kind of, people that were on her side are now doubting her. So Ashley
Totally.
started doubting her. Will
Totally.
started doubting her. Um, Rachel is gonna probably even go after her because
She
she
could.
nominated Jimmy, who was very close to her.
Mm-hmm.
Riley as well, because she used her HOH takeover to take over his HOH.
It's always going to be an excuse for why he can
A
nominate
hundred
her.
percent. Like,
Yeah.
not only did she take his HOH from him, she put him on the block. She put him on the block.
Yeah.
So Mickey now is gonna find herself in a very, very precarious situation
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. I feel sad for her.
Even though she used her power and she successfully used it, I don't think it was good for her at all.
No, no, not at all. And it'll be really interesting to see where she lands because right now I think she's really on an island by herself.
Yeah.
I think that's where she's going to find her, powerless.
And she didn't need to use it because
Of
Riley was going to
course.
nominate her, Morgan,
That
and
was a
Ashley.
great. I was so pumped when I saw her use that. I
For
was
sure.
so excited for her.
Yeah.
And she totally, as we've seen so many times already this season, just really, really fumbled it
Yeah,
here.
I think
She had
so.
a great opportunity to do something great for herself and set her up in a situation. She could have had Rachel on her back. She could have had Ava. She could have had Jimmy. She could have flipped people against Vince. She could have reflipped Morgan because honestly, Zach and Lauren are tighter, in my opinion, than Zach and Morgan. If Morgan would have lost Vince, where would have Morgan gone?
Yep.
Morgan would have had to go crawling back to Mickey. Mickey, ugh,
Yeah.
gosh.
But what
Ugh.
what caused all of this is what we have to think about too, because her original nomination was Keanu,
Mm-hmm.
Riley, and Kelly.
Mm-hmm. And her target was
And
Keanu.
her target was Keanu, and for the third week in a row, Keanu wins the power of veto. Again, do people not know what a backdoor is?
My
Have they
goodness.
have none of these people ever watched Big Brother
It
before?
seems like they forgot that that was an option.
This guy is clearly winning these competitions.
Yeah.
Why? Like, especially when he finds himself in a situation where he knows he's going to get voted out if he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't win. I feel like that gives them an extra bit of confidence or like competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And good thing for Keanu. Keanu is actually right now, I think, in a great position. He, by winning this one, yes, I think he's going to continue to be a target, but there's other targets coming up right now, like Vince.
Endlessly too. These
Yes.
huge targets just get placed in front of him.
Yep.
And that's what I think is really interesting, that like people go in to either take out Kelly or Keanu, and then they just don't ever, they seem to be blindsided with the fact that they then have to come up with a plan B, and then they end up evicting one of their own
For
allies,
sure.
and it's so bizarre to me. uh yeah, I don't understand how any of that happens, but
It's
I
just it's interesting how the numbers just don't add up when the
yeah.
voting comes about. Then all of a sudden, like even me and you, we're looking at it and we're like, I was looking at it today. And I was like, there's no way Jimmy's gonna be able to survive this. Like,
Mhm.
just he needed 6 people, and there was no way that 6 was gonna add up for him because he would have needed a combination of either like Riley and Catherine to vote Kelly out, or Vince to vote for like to
He was
vote,
trying to like
and I feel
even
like
whip
none of that
Vince,
was
and
gonna.
Vince is sitting there like, honey, you're up there because of me. It was me or you,
For
dog.
sure.
And I went out.
I'm the
I went
reason
in
for
there
sure that you're in there.
first.
Yep.
And yeah, and like, oh, Rachel won't come after you. And I just, yeah, that it was really wow. But I will say, like with Keanu, is I think he like feeds off of the hate for him, and he really is. They showed a clip at the end of this that I'm assuming they talk about in the Big Brother show with Derek and Taylor, but Rachel and Keanu going out at it, and Rachel being like, "Why are you so obsessed with me?"
He is
And
obsessed with
he is,
her.
and even at the end of
At
the
the end,
episode, he's
they
like trying to console her, and she's really just like weeping, and he's just like, yeah, and she's like, I can hear Rachel's thoughts, and she's like, I can't believe I'm in here with
I
this
think
man.
he's just a huge like Big Brother
For
super
sure.
fan, and I think that could happen to even my
Yeah.
like to me. If I found myself with Rachel in the house, I would probably be like a puppy dog next to her, trying to just
Mm-hmm.
soak in everything I could.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't blame him, but yes, he is 100% obsessed with her, and she's. It's like when you like a girl and she doesn't like you, but you just
Mm-hmm. Just
continue.
cannot leave
You
her
like you don't take a hint,
alone.
and
Yeah, just literally
it's
stage
literally
five
what it is.
clinger on
Because
her.
even like for the movie thing, he invited her to the movie
He's
with Jimmy,
obsessed.
and
He's
it
obsessed.
was
And
and
now he probably even more so now he sees an in because Jimmy's gone. He's like,
for
yes,
sure,
I'm gonna
this is my
slide right in
chance.
there. At the veto, when he won and everybody's totally stunned, and he looks at Ava and he's like, I believe you have a prompt.
Hmm.
And then she gets all like, you talking to me?
She
You
that
talking to
new
me?
that Long Island accent
She was
came
ready
out.
to throw down New
For sure.
York style. It
Uh,
was amazing. It was amazing. Go Ava.
Floaters of the week. Lauren for sure was a floater this week. She won HOH last week, and I didn't even see her until she voted.
Lauren? Who's Lauren again?
But definitely, and she was. I don't think because you were saying that she was a floater last week, but I think she was HOH. So it's hard to be a floater when you're in HOH because you're having to nominate people. But she for sure was a floater this week.
She disappeared into
Um,
the
she
wallpaper
just literally finished her HOH and went back into her raft and put on her life vest.
with her and Zach. Where
Zach
was
as well,
Zach?
for sure. Zach definitely floated by this
He was
week.
just crying somewhere, probably. I don't know. you know,
um,
crying Ron's always out there. So no cry it
yep,
out.
and you can maybe say he was involved in a couple of conversations, but Will also
Well,
was a bit of a floater. But I think it was more a strategy for him on to in like laying low because he's already been on the block, and now this season has turned into if you've been on the block, you're probably gonna be back on the block.
yep. Make
So
yourself comfortable there. And he was like, nope. I want everyone to forget about me. And of course, I mean, having an alliance member as the HOH, for sure. He wanted everyone to forget about him.
for sure.
So
And
then next week they'll totally forget that he had been up on the block. Hopefully,
so
if we're
talking
right
about
for
next week,
once.
what are your predictions? Prediction for me is Kelly's gonna be back on the block because the strategy of um, volunteering yourself to be nominated week one has definitely backfired on her, and now she's wondering why she's being nominated each and every week.
What did she expect? And like she was having a whole breakdown this week talking about it was her birthday. And it's like, my dear, what did you expect? You're the easiest choice,
You're the
especially
safe
when
choice.
everybody plays it safe until the very end when they vote somebody else out.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree. Unless she figures it out. I also think it's interesting that she was kind of trying to jump ship from Vince because Vince, she had that final two with Vince in the beginning, and Vince has now more aligned himself with the Laurens and the Morgans, and so she's kind of lost that alliance. But we called it. I'd say week two, we called it. This is a shifty season.
It is.
So honestly, there's so many people that could win that anything could happen. What would Vince do? What would Morgan do? What would Rachel do? Rachel really needs a win, I think. I think Rachel needs a
What
win
would Keanu do?
bad. What
He's
would
won competitions. What would Kelly do?
can he win an HOH? But you know who would most likely be safe if Keanu won?
Who?
Rachel.
Probably.
What would
Probably.
Kelly do? Would Kelly come for all the people that have nominated her? Which is everybody? Who knows?
But
Who
all right, put it
knows?
out there. Who's winning HOH?
I really don't know. I don't know. I don't have that prediction.
Give me a name. Give me a name.
I don't know.
You never know. It's
I
like
don't
hitting
know.
the lotto.
I don't have any preconceived notion about who can win. I I would rather just see how it pans out because even Riley kind of blindsided me a little bit. I was like, "Oh, Riley's there? Maybe I'm assuming Riley's eligible again.
He
If
should
he
be.
wasn't technically HOH, I don't even think he got like sworn in as
He was an
HOH.
HOH for not even
Like a
24
couple minutes.
hours.
No, I don't even think it was 24 hours. I think it was like a couple minutes. I think they came in and I think automatically they were all talking about it and automatically Mickey was like, "Oh, I don't know exactly the timing there, but I think it was right away. I don't even think he got his HOH
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna say Keanu's gonna win it.
room." I just because you want to see a Keanu reign.
Yeah, I feel like it's we need somebody to go after that side of the house. Although that side of the house took out a number for themselves this week, but I just feel like it's gonna make the game have to like I can see him taking out a Morgan, a Vince,
Hmm.
an Ashley.
You think he would go for Vince though?
No, not Vince. Sorry,
I feel like
but
Vince is
a
tough.
Morgan, a Mickey, an
And I
Ashley.
feel like Vince would maybe protect Morgan. I don't know who Vince is really loyal to, but right now feel like Vince would maybe protect Morgan a little bit.
I think that Vince, Zach, and Morgan alliance is strong.
It's really strong. Yeah, I think I agree. Keanu HOH would be interesting. A Kelly HOH would be interesting, and I think a Rachel HOH would also be
For
really
sure. A
interesting. I'd
Rachel
say like
HOH would be interesting too.
those are ones that I think would shake things up,
Especially
shift
after
things.
Jimmy getting voted out, I would you know what? I would like to see what Rachel does. Because would
Yeah.
she nominate Mickey? Would she nominate Keanu, who's obsessed with her? Like
Who
what?
I keep saying arguably is good for her game. He's a big target and he's obsessed with her. Like, she may be safe with Keanu. She doesn't like Keanu at all. But it's kind of like that little barking puppy that follows you around. You're like, all right, might as well take advantage of
Would she go
you.
for Lauren that she was giving her this
She'd
advice?
probably go for Vince. I feel like
Definitely.
Vince would be her target.
Yeah.
Vince would be
Vince would
her
be her
probably
target.
number one
That
target,
is right.
which would be tough for Vince. And Vince is kind of public enemy number one, even if people don't really know it yet. So I think those would be interesting. I want to say my quote of the week, which I want to also point out that I did judge Lauren and Catherine as the most likely showmance girls. And look at them. Although Lauren is doing her best to not fall into it, and I think it's just because Zach likes her, but she doesn't really like him back. But Catherine and Riley, which I did not really see coming, I guess. And then they're out there and they're just having their cute little moment. And
Riley was ready to pull his
he was
move.
going for it. We were gonna make this showman's official. And then all of a sudden you have Ava in the background and Riley goes, you have Ava going at it on this hammock and she's just swinging like she is on a real magic carpet
For
ride.
sure.
It was amazing. It was really great television.
She
I
she
love
does bring some
Ava.
entertainment
I would love
to
to
the
see
show.
an Ava HOH, honestly.
She's not gonna win.
And
She's gonna make it far in this game because
yeah,
nobody feels like she can win anything, and people are just gonna bring her along.
yeah.
So
She is an easy like number to have. I feel like Rachel's also in a good spot with somebody like her, with somebody even like Keanu, even though she doesn't really like him. Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
So I think
Last
that's
thoughts?
no, I think that's the end. I think that was week 4, and see you guys next week for our recap of week 5
Week
of
5.
Big Brother.
All Cloud in Brooklyn, Lost Big Brother. The official jingle.
Peace out.